Hello? Yeah. Yeah. I should just edit this out, but then I probably will for the most part. Let me just let my hair out. Hello, aloha from not Hawaii. Like Ninja here. The last part of the GACE exam, right before I sign up and go take this thing. Hopefully I'll pass first time around. Um, be my I have to count the videos up, but we're almost done. We're sectioning this off. I did want to do this a little bit earlier, um, with the material, but I want to keep it still the same amount of videos with the two-part first section. So this is the last module, which is financial literacy, which is fun for me because I like this part. I really wish this was more emphasized in economics when we were in school. Um, I'll use all the current adult power knowledge I have now to take on these areas of financial responsibility, decision making planning, informing consumers, managing risk, credit and debt. All right. Then I will sign up for these tests or the testlets and take them all either Thursday or Friday. I wanted to take them at my local area, but they seem like they're not available until like mid October, and I want to do this week while the knowledge is mostly fresh. Um, and looking over this stuff, I'm happy it's still there for the most part. All right, let's get started. Personal finances. Make informed, responsible decisions that impact individual present, future well-being. Budgeting, saving, investing. You gotta be prepared for things to happen like ACs going out, ooh, or car troubles, all types of stuff. Emergency funds would be, yeah, I know it's happened. Happily, we had something going on. All right, budgeting, your income, find your fixed expenses, find your variable expenses. Right, so fixed are things that don't change, usually under contract, like rent, mortgage, insurance, until they change it, because they will change it. Subscription changes. It's like they're fixed until they change it. Those are kind of variable expenses, I would say, today in a high inflation state. They would normally be fixed, but they are very, very much variable. They change whenever they want to. They send you a little email and be like, "Hey, we're going up $3." And once they do that 3 or 4 times, you go, paying. I think Apple One, for example, was originally just like $25 a month or something like that. It's now like $37, $40 a month. So they're pretty variable too, but we kind of get it, sure. The more variable expenses, I guess, are things that are based off usage, which guess what, they've been changing as well. The electricity rates, the water rates, everything's variable right now. As I said, I get what they're saying, but in the state of inflation, everything is in a variable state, unfortunately. I get it. Utilities, transportation, yeah. Then you got your discretionary spending, which I would put subscriptions in, honestly, because you don't have to have them. You can choose, what subscriptions you need and which ones you don't. So they're kind of more descriptive, and they're most likely for entertainment, unless you're looking at like news subscriptions. So they're mostly. That's actually just a weird way. I would probably put them down. They're not fixed. They're more variable and discretionary than fixed. But hey, this is like the third tweak I've made to this material. Fourth. Um, yeah, personal preference, entertainment, dining out, vacations, luxury goods, iPhones, other stuff. And then you got entertainment spending, which are things that only come up when necessary, like car maintenance, medical bills, home repairs, holiday gifts. That's when you got to plan for it. You got to have that emergency time, emergency. Um, 50, 30, 20 rule. I've heard variations of this, but this is what they're teaching, I guess, currently. 50% income necessities, 30% to discretionary, 20% to savings and debt repayment. Okay. I mean, that's a little bit better than other ways I've seen it as of recently. I've seen some 10%, you know what I mean, for discretionary spending and maybe more. Or maybe that's, and then like, I guess there's another percentage, but it's cool this way too. Treat yourself. Um, and adjust as necessary. This is a basic budget. I like it. It's cool. Our budget that I do with my family looks a little bit more intricate, but sure. Spending, build a music fund, save 6 months living expenses because you have job loss. Definitely happens once again. Economic times right now, weird place. A lot of people losing jobs, but apparently there's a lot of jobs. I don't know. I haven't gotten one yet. Um, Track spending, emergency fund, debt management. Make sure all those high interest rate credit cards or student loans, you gotta take care of them, or they will get you with those interests, and it sucks so bad. Same for home, education, retirement. Use SMART goals, so specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound. Never heard of this? Like it though. It's cool. Gotta make an acronym for everything that means something. Invest for the future. 401ks, yes. IRA, sure. Get on that stock market. Get on those Robinhoods. Make some long term investments that give you hundreds to 1,000% ROIs, which is return on interest. Starting COVID, I've seen those. I appreciate it. It's very helpful, especially in times this where, like I said, the economy is booming in certain areas. So it's like money's still being made, but and it's money that's making itself just from the money. It's a good feeling. Um, this is hilarious stuff though. So pay structure, earned income, salaries, tips, commission, wages, bonus. So this is like doing tax stuff. Unearned income, tax treatments. So interest from saving account, dividends from stocks, rental income, social security benefits, gross pay. Sure. You got your mandatory deductions. That's what I'm saying. This would be the section I would enjoy teaching probably in class. It's just like everyday stuff, but we really didn't do this. Even in AP economics, we just didn't. I remember wanting to. It was like a week, which most of the stuff probably can be taught in a week, but I would want to get into the nitty gritty of, like I said, 401k, or using stock to your advantage, even with your 401k. You know what I mean? Even when you get that opportunity to, and some companies offer stock at reduced pricing, you know what I mean, to employees. Like even based off of that, if you want to do that, you want to maybe pick your company based off what you know beforehand, as in high school, stuff like that. Yeah, I think it would be important. because not every company does their stuff in retirements the same. Some of them more pay up front. Your retirement ain't really our concern. Invest in other things. You got to know. Voluntary deductions to 401k, retirement, health, dental. We still ain't doing healthcare all over. And then, yeah, Social Security, which is still running around. And after you take away all that, you get your net pay. Some people think, yeah, you walk into a job, they don't know how taxes or deductions work, and they just like, yeah, I go here, I work here. Why are these things being taken out of my check? Oh, they didn't teach you net pay? Well, you would learn it in my instruction, so we won't get confused. Saving investment, setting aside a portion of savings, golden rule of savings, invest 10% of take home pay before paying any bills. 10% to invest, 10% to your church or spiritual leader and guides. And then that's what I'm saying. I'm like, that 30 is like, I guess that's a part of discretionary spending. Like once you take it out of them, that's 20. Um, yeah, they didn't mention, but I agree. There should be a 10% straight to like growing, making your money grow itself. Once again, they didn't really talk about this much when I was in school, and I really wish I remember asking and pushing, like, "Yo, why aren't we?" Because I had some ideas, I had some things I wanted to do, I had some capital that I was willing to invest. But this is not here. This is today, or this is not then. This is today. So I'm willing to teach the next. I was looking for stuff like this. I knew the buy low and sell high, the dividends part, the other parts. Different number of investment strategies, risk tolerance. Risk is the potential to lose money. It happens. You got to understand that it's not always gains, and you will lose. I've lost. I've won a lot. I've lost a lot too. It's not really evened out. I definitely have more gains than loss, but you got to understand the risk. And you understand when to get out. When is the juice worth the squeeze? Dollar cost average pros. So risk averse investors are typically safer investments, mutual funds, growth index. Growth investors are strong potential and growth future earnings. Look for smaller new companies that have novel stuff. I am in the middle. I've always been in the middle. Trade options, cryptocurrencies. I've gotten some big gains. I've lost some money. Um, I've also done some growth investments on smaller things. I don't do this because I've done a smaller version of this and gotten burnt when purchasing stocks. So like they're like everyone's doing it. It's like no. Like for GameStop, for example, I was more like GameStop was $4 when I had bought it before all the hoopla because I knew that they were down and out, but I knew they were gonna come back. And then when the incident happened and it got up to $400, oh I didn't buy any more though on the way up there. I just kept the amount that I had got for the four and was just like, how high is this gonna go? And I sold it at the top. So you could have kept buying more, but it's like you had to know that eventually it was going. It didn't. I will say it didn't. There are people who made money off that, but I don't know. It did eventually go down. What a time! And then valuement bargain shoppers. They're just looking for stuff. So yeah, that's me. I'm looking for undervalued future positive returns. It's like, yo, that's me more. This one. But I think you should just be all five. All right, so that's income, base salary, hourly pay, salaries in your industry, competitiveness, salary, benchmarks, bonus commissions, yes, benefits. These are things that are important that some people don't understand. They just think, oh, in the beginning days when you're working regular jobs, yes, all you should care about is how much your hourly wage is. But once you get to career levels, salaries, bonus commissions, and benefits, like you got to start looking at what matters to you. PTO days, how many times can you take off and get paid for it? Do you have to earn those, or do you just get them up front? Do you get more over time, or like I said, you get them up front? There's certain people who do it. There are certain companies and organizations do it different ways. Health insurance benefits, there's levels to that. That certain companies pick certain levels that have certain coverages. This matters. I know because I've been all over the place. I've seen all types of job packages and the differences in between the really, really good ones, the okay ones, the more average ones. Yeah. And stuff like this, the special stuff like education reimbursement, which is really important because, as we've talked about in earlier videos, human capital is essential, right, when it comes to innovation and technology advancement and stuff like that. So, investing in your employees by subsidizing that cost of education, I think it's a thing that I feel like all companies that want to be have their employees at their best should do. It's not just about like little classes and certifications, but like actual full on education. And then also like gym stuff. I've had one company that had the best gym membership I've ever had, and it was the best. That gym outside of them was like $200 a month or something like that. But with them, you only had to pay like $25, and it was so great. And I am still sad to this day. Like, yeah, that gym was amazing, huge. But I digress. Base salary, benefits, stuff, and taxes. You got your federal tax. That's big USA, big America. State tax where you live. Here in GACE land is Georgia. Social Security, depending on where you work, how you work, and still mostly federal property. Depends on if you own things like houses, cars. These ones suck because they're like annual. Even after you pay off something, they have other forms of property taxes that come about. Ugh, ownership. So people rent things. If you're gonna charge me taxes on it, I might as well get some extra dollars on it. Sales tax, what we all experience, and well, no, that varies state to state as well. Some states don't have sales tax. Some states have extremely low sales tax, and some states have ridiculously high sales tax. Depends on usually the type of industries that roll around in said state, or if it's just a smaller state, like I think it's Delaware, where my homies used to reside, and be like, "Oh, we don't have state tax." They do stuff like that to incentivize people to move there or whatever. So it's definitely calculating tax, determine gross income. Put in all the money that you make, all the places that you do it. Apply deductions, things that you qualify for: mortgage, interest repayment, student loan insurance, kids, child care, anything like a business. When you start a business, those expenses, there's a bunch. They don't teach you this stuff. They didn't teach us this stuff. I learned this stuff on my own, and I will be willing to teach it next. So even at 17, 18, more informed decisions can be made. Um, this is for employers withhold those Social Security and Medicare. The self-employed got paid for that all on you. So apply deductions, get that taxable income, and then get a tax rate based off where you stand in the tax ranges set by the government or the IRS. Based off that percentage, you'll know. So here's a credit. So they, oh, sorry. So yeah, the deductions are the interest rate, which is, to me, they all apply the same. But you got your deductions, and the credits are the like child tax credits and care and other things. They didn't teach us any of this. Tax forms, you got your W-2s, which is like regular employees. W-4, independent contractors got the 1099, which I'm like, these are the ones things that I'm just like, I would have to get a refresher on, and here it is. So the W-4 is what you fill out when you're starting a new job that you submit. Hey, this is how much taxes I want you guys to withhold, which I've been screwed in before because they don't really explain the stuff to you, and then it's just like, oh, I think I want to withhold this much, and then they, you get bopped on the tax later. W-2 is what you receive after you get those taxes or get the records of your wages that give your taxes. Um, This is what you give your full time employee. If you're a independent contractor, you get a 1099. The 1040 is the tax form that you fill out if you are an individual or family, individual non business owner to report said taxes, itemized deductions, Schedule A, people who are self employed use a Schedule C, which is a different form of itemized, and then looking at business expenses. Gather information, W-2, mortgage, interest, get all that information. It is a lot of information to collect if you have said information, or it's really easy if you're just working one job and like a student or something. Choose filing status, total income, apply deductions. Usually, TurboTax or some software will calculate liability. Submit it, and they will let you know if they owe you money or if you owe them money. And you have a certain amount of time to pay it, or you can apply for an extension if you need it or a payment plan. There's ways to get it done, but when you avoid it, it comes with fees. It comes with taxes, or sorry, it comes with interest on those fees with said taxes owed, and it just increases and rolls into a really big mess. Debt management is important. Paying off high interest debit cards, negotiating with lenders to consolidate or refinance loans. And it's really important. I need to probably do more of that because it's bad. Emergency funds, what you need when things happen and you need that cushion. I say 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses, insurance coverage against losses, health insurance, auto insurance, home insurance, rental insurance, all of them. It's not, yeah, I mean, say what you feel, but you don't want to be on the other side and not have it. So go, and certain things won't let you have, like you can't, certain rental properties won't let you rent without rental insurance. Certain, you can't um, do a car without, I mean, car insurance. So not in Georgia, I believe. Let's see, goal setting. Setting a goal, save for a down payment on a house, fund a dream vacation. It's just being ready to be an adult, managing that money, that time. Compound interest, leveraging power, allows investments to grow over time through reinvested earnings. Time account early, compound growth over time. You gotta know that. You gotta know what compound interest is. Tax planning. um, the government likes when you contribute to stuff. Like I said, instead of just taking your cash and putting it into a bank account or a regular savings account, they would prefer you to invest it in some form or fashion to keep the money going and growing. So investing, if you really are in a company that you care about, investing your money into an IRA, it reduces taxable income. Really smart, especially if you plan on spending all your time there. You can really grow your money as it grows with the company and interest, stock rates, all that stuff over time. And like I said, lower taxes. Diversification, you gotta, diversify your portfolios. That way you won't be, if an industry that you're highly invested in goes sour, it won't necessarily affect you too much if you have diversified yourself in other areas. So stocks, bonds, real estate, areas and all, not just stocks, not just bonds, not just real estate, but all of them to mitigate market fluctuations. Lifestyle management, staying within your means. If you're trying to save up and grind, you gotta, instead of eating out, you gotta cook. Can't order, DoorDash. You gotta, cook and you gotta cook modest. You gotta wait for the movie to come to your streaming service. You might have to get rid of your streaming service for a little while, depending on what you're trying to do. So, keep creating personal wealth and spend less than you earn and invest consistently and early. Post high school, so people need to know is really important. If you're trying to go to, you know, post secondary school, university level, um, scholarships are important. I would, I think a shout out to the magnet counselors that or magnet counselor. His career really pushed us, and I want to say other students after us to really go for those scholarships and make sure you just don't have to like see this thing right here does not need to be repaid, so you can go to school for free. Now, what you do with said scholarships once you get them, it's on you. But I encourage everyone to go for them, get them. They're out there, they're available. Hope, I don't know how Hope is, still moving around, but I think it still does what it needs to do. Let's see. Scholarships are based off academic performance, talents, extracurricular achievements. I was out there, mad scholarships, sports, high GPA, a lot of activities. but those aren't the glory days. Grants, I should have applied for more of these, but I didn't because I was kind of covered by my scholarships for the most part. But grants are just like it's almost free money. Like if you qualify for it, apply for it, and you might get it. Sometimes, like I said, based off financial needs. Sometimes based off your field of study or what you've done for the community. So, and then there's the big baddies right here, the student loans. Ooh, you got to pay these back. You got to pay these back. Ugh. They for everybody. They'll give them to you, but the interest rate might be crazy. They might tell you they might pay it. They might let it go. They might not. They probably not. It's like 95% chance they not. So try to go for these. And then work study programs are cool because you work, they'll pay you to learn. It's real cool stuff. Finance college careers after high school, with some options require you to pay it back. Only really one option. All right, stop it for now. And I think we'll be almost done. Yeah, man. Let's get it.